There was a time when nothing made sense, when you kept asking yourself, why me? The nights felt longer than usual, and the silence around you started to feel louder than noise. You tried to explain your pain, but no words ever felt enough, and even when people said, it will get better, it never really touched your heart. You smiled in front of others, but deep inside, something was quietly breaking. You began to feel lost within your own thoughts, as if you were drifting in a place where no one could reach you. Even the things that once made you happy started to feel distant, like they no longer belonged to you. And slowly, you started questioning your own worth without even realizing it. But what you didn't realize at that moment was that this confusion, this heaviness, was not the end of you, it was the beginning of a transformation you couldn't yet understand. It didn't happen in one moment, it happened slowly, piece by piece. One disappointment turned into another, and before you knew it, everything you once felt secure about started slipping away. People changed, situations shifted, and the life you thought was stable suddenly felt uncertain. You tried to hold on, tried to fix things, tried to stay strong, but some things were never meant to stay. And that's what hurt the most, not just losing what you had, but realizing you had no control over it. You gave your energy, your time, your emotions, and still, things didn't work out the way you hoped. It felt like life was testing your limits in ways you never signed up for. But what felt like everything falling apart, was actually life clearing space for something you truly deserve. Then came the silence, the kind that doesn't just surround you, but lives inside you. You stopped explaining yourself, stopped reacting the same way, stopped expecting people to understand. You started observing more, speaking less. And in that silence, something powerful began to happen. You started meeting a version of yourself you had ignored for so long. The pain didn't disappear, but it started teaching you. It taught you who truly matters, what truly deserves your energy, and most importantly, how strong you really are. That silence you once feared, became your greatest teacher. There was someone, just like you. They gave their all to people who only stayed temporarily. They trusted deeply, loved purely, and believed that good intentions would always be enough. But life had other plans. One day, everything they built emotionally, collapsed. The people they thought would stay forever, slowly became strangers. Nights turned into silent battles, and days became forced smiles. But instead of giving up, they chose to sit with their pain. They chose to understand it rather than escape it. And little by little, they started rebuilding themselves, not the same person they were before, but someone wiser, stronger, and more aware. And one day, they looked back and realized, if that pain never happened, they would have never discovered their true strength. Somewhere between all that pain, you started changing. Not suddenly, not loudly, but quietly, deeply. The things that once broke you started losing their power over you. You began to outgrow the version of yourself that used to beg for understanding and chase validation. Now, you started choosing peace over proving a point. You started protecting your energy instead of giving it away so easily. And even though the journey felt lonely at times, you realized that you were no longer the same person who once felt helpless. You were becoming stronger in ways no one could see, and that strength was real. You started recognizing your own worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. And slowly, you began to feel something unfamiliar, a quiet kind of confidence growing within you. And then one day, it clicks. Not all at once, but in a quiet moment where everything finally makes sense. You begin to understand that the pain was never there to destroy you, it was there to wake you up. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every lonely night was shaping you into someone more aware, more grounded, more real. You realized that if things didn't fall apart, you would have never found yourself. If people didn't leave, you would have never learned to stand on your own. And if it didn't hurt this much, you would have never grown this much. The pain didn't come to stay forever, it came to transform you. And in that realization, you finally stop asking, why me? And start saying, thank you for changing me. At some point, you stop holding on so tightly. Not because you didn't care, but because you finally understood that some things are not meant to stay in your life forever. You start releasing the need to control everything, the need to fix everyone, the need to be enough for people who never truly saw your worth. And in that letting go, you feel lighter. Not completely healed, but stronger than before. You begin to accept that closure doesn't always come from others, sometimes, it comes from within. And that realization changes everything. You stop chasing answers and start choosing peace. And for the first time in a long time, your heart feels like it's finally breathing again. There was a phase in someone's life where nothing seemed to move forward. No big achievements, no visible progress, just quiet days filled with overthinking and self-doubt. From the outside, it looked like they were stuck. But inside, a transformation was happening. They were learning to sit with themselves, to understand their emotions, to heal wounds no one else could see. They stopped seeking validation and started building a connection with their own soul. It was slow, painful, and invisible to the world. But one day, everything felt different. Not because life changed, but because they did. And that's when they realized, growth doesn't always make noise. After everything you've been through, something shifts inside you. You no longer see yourself the way you used to. The doubts lose their voice, and your strength becomes louder. You realize how much you survived, how much you endured, and how you're still standing. You're not searching anymore, you're remembering. A quiet confidence builds within you, and for the first time, you feel proud of who you are becoming. One day, you'll look back at everything and understand why it had to happen. Not with pain, but with clarity. You'll see how every moment shaped you, guided you, protected you. You didn't lose anything, you were redirected. So if you're still in that phase, hold on. Trust the process. Because one day, it will all make sense. And when it does, you'll smile, knowing you made it through everything that once tried to break you.